Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something kind of wild, how AI is learning a very human skill, trust. Now it's not about trusting you or me, it's learning how to trust its own information. And as you'll see, this one little tweak is making it unbelievably smart.
Okay, let's start with a really common, sometimes frustrating experience. You've probably asked yourself this before. Why is it that when you do an image search, sometimes the results are just completely, totally wrong? We've all been there, right? So what's actually going on under the hood?
Well, here's the thing. A lot of the time, the problem is that the AI is kind of like a detective with only one clue. It's just too focused. So if you ask it for a red car and its clue is red, hey, you might get a picture of a red apple. On the other hand, if its only clue is car, well, you might get a blue car. See the problem? Relying on just one piece of evidence, it just doesn't cut it.
Okay, so if one clue isn't enough, the obvious answer is to give the AI more clues, right? Let's talk about combining that digital evidence.
And there's a name for this. It's called feature fusion. It sounds technical, but the idea is super simple. Instead of looking at just one thing, the AI combines, or, fuses together all different kinds of digital clues to get a much better picture of what it's looking at.
And believe me, the AI has a whole toolkit of clues to work with. It can look at the simple stuff, like the colors in an image or the different textures. It can even analyze the overall shape and scene with a technique called GIST. But where it gets really powerful is when it uses its deep learning brain. We're talking models like VGG16 and ResNet-50 to spot these incredibly subtle patterns, these deep features that you and I would probably never even notice.
Okay, but wait a minute. This brings up a pretty big question, right? If you just throw all these clues into a big digital pot and mix them up, how in the world does the AI know which clues actually matter? How does it figure out what to pay attention to and what to ignore?
And that brings us to the really elegant solution, the heart of this whole thing. It's not about just mixing clues. It's about building an AI's trust algorithm.
And this isn't just some sci-fi idea, it's actually happening. Researchers from Northeastern University build a system that does exactly this. What you're looking at here is a blueprint from their work. It's a system designed to let an AI weigh its evidence to decide on the fly which clues it can actually trust.
So how does an AI actually learn to trust? Well, it's a pretty clever four-step process. First, it's like a time trial. The system tests every single clue on its own to see how well it performs. Then, based on that performance, it gives each clue a trust score, kind of like a grade. Step 3, it's ruthless. It throws out the low scores and only keeps the most trusted clues for the job. And finally, the magic step. It gives each of those chosen clues a final importance weight.
And here's the kicker. You're probably going to recognize the name of the tool they use to assign those final weights. It's PageRank. Yeah, that PageRank, the legendary algorithm that basically built Google by figuring out how to rank web pages. But here, instead of ranking websites, it's ranking the AI's own clues to figure out which ones are the most important and authoritative. It's such a brilliant use of that tech.
All right, the theory is really cool, right? But the billion-dollar question is, does it actually work in the real world? Let's look at the results, because they are pretty dramatic.
I mean, the researchers themselves were pretty blunt about it. In their paper, they said, quote, "The experimental results show that our proposed method outperforms other methods." That's a bold claim. So let's see the numbers that back it up.
And here we go. The proof is right here in the data. Look at this table. If the AI uses just its best single clue, its best guess, it gets it right about 93% of the time, which, hey, that's not too shabby. But if you just naively mix all the clues together, that's simple fusion, it jumps all the way up to over 99%. But check this out. Their adaptive fusion, the one based on trust, it pushes that number even higher. 99.55%. Just let that sink in for a second. That is an absolutely insane level of accuracy. That tiny little jump might not seem like much, but it's the difference between an AI that's just pretty good and one that is rock-solid reliable. And this chart just makes it crystal clear. You can see the huge leap in performance, going from just one piece of evidence to this smart, adaptive system. I mean, the improvement is just massive. It's not even a close competition. So this is awesome for finding pictures, for sure, but why should you really care about this? Well, this is where it goes from a neat lab experiment to something that could change everything, from search to self-driving cars.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't really about finding better pictures of cats. This is about teaching an AI one of the most critical skills imaginable, how to weigh evidence. And for the kinds of complex, high-stakes jobs we're starting to give AI, that skill is absolutely essential.
Let's take self-driving cars, for example. Right now, most of them are kind of on their own, right? Each car is just using its own sensors to see the world. But imagine a future with cooperative perception. Instead of one car, you have a whole fleet of them, all sharing what they see. And an AI in the middle is constantly fusing all that data, deciding in a split second, okay, that car's camera has the best view right now, let's trust that one. And this idea is a total game changer, and not just for cars. Think about medicine, combining MRIs, CT scans, and a patient's history with the AI deciding which piece of data is most trustworthy for a diagnosis. Or at Wall Street, an AI weighing news reports, market data, and company filings to spot trends. The possibilities are frankly endless.
So if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. AI is making a huge leap. It's moving beyond just seeing a bunch of data. Now it's learning to critically evaluate that information. It's developing a sense of judgment.
And that really leaves us with a pretty mind-bending question to chew on. If AI is mastering how to weigh evidence and assign trust, what's the next uniquely human skill it's going to master? I'll leave you to think about that one.